Alright guys, this is a quick arena video of me and my arena partner. He's playing his alt warrior and I'm trying to carry him through some conquest capping. I'm going to talk this video through, so hopefully it'll help you improve your gameplay instead of just being a straight arena video. So this first match is against a Disc Priest Warlock. In 2v2, any healer comp that you face, basically as double DPS, the only option you have is to burn down the healer's mana, which is actually not as easy as it sounds. So the strategy we're using here is to stick on the Warlock, both of us, the entire time. What we're trying to do is keep him from casting as much as possible, and basically just make the Disc Priest burn mana, healing him until eventually the Disc Priest runs out of mana, and then we win the game. So the basic strategy here against a Warlock is pretty straightforward. You just want to interrupt as many casts as possible. Notice the power aura to the left of my bars. You see it blinking currently. It's an icon of a grounding totem. I set that up to indicate the grounding totem is available, and it means I can cast it. And you know, in perfect play, I would have it up 100% of the time. Obviously, that's not the case all the time. I
kill his pet.
In higher brackets, you need to use grounding totem a little bit more strategically. You have to use it at the right times, otherwise they'll just use a low-level weak spell or something like a throwaway spell to eat the grounding totem. So my partner is called to kill the pet. Apparently the pet is harassing him. So we've killed it once already, and he resummoned it, which is not surprising. I know Warlocks have cooldowns to do it. I'm hexing the priest here only because I want him to blow his trinket at this point. I don't want him to have his trinket later if we decide to do any kind of CC and try to finish the Warlock off. One of the problems with Disc Priests is that when they're bubbling their targets and you're attacking a shielded target, you don't get mana back on auto attack, so you have to be really careful about your mana. One tactic that you can use, that I use periodically here, is switching to the pet and attacking the pet. Priests typically don't shield the pet, so they won't have a shield on them, and you can restore your mana that way. We're trying to kill the Fell Hunter a second time.
How do you get another one? That's 3 times.
That's his 3rd Fell Hunter that he summoned, and at this point we're getting kind of pissed. I hex him again, just to allow us to build up some time on the Warlock, get his health low, and force him to start doing some heals. We're hoping he wastes a little bit of mana here. Notice how this guy is letting us stand in the healing rain. The Skull and Crossbones icon power aura is a curse. I dispel my own curses whenever possible. I don't really worry about my teammate. One of the tricks, or I should say the keys to enhancement gameplay, is that most people underestimate your healing ability, and that's what's going to keep you alive, your team alive, through a healer comp like this. Against this squishy
she got
cloth,
another pet out.
That's pet number 4.
Possible?
Against Cloth, the Warrior Enhance, we can keep them from casting pretty well, and we can do a lot of damage on the Clothy, so
4K.
We're really limiting the Warlock's damage here, and at the same time, we're taking very little ourselves. The Warrior's using his own self-heal, and when he gets low, I'm healing him. Now, at this point, we're going to switch to the Disc Priest, because if you notice, he's very low on mana, so we're hoping to be able to get a kill here, and this actually turns out to be a strategic error. What's happening right now is that we're both on the Disc Priest. Neither of us are really focusing the Warlock, which is a mistake. We should be. I pop Tremor there to break the sphere since we're trying to basically burst the Priest down. The problem is that the Warlock is not checked, and are you watching the Warrior's hit points? They're just going down and down and down, and this is a really big problem. If one of us dies, we're going to lose. Now, watch that Disc Priest over there behind the pillar. When you're doing this kind of thing, the Priest is real low on mana, you have to make sure that you don't let him get away to cast a full duration mana regen like a him, or to get out of combat and drink. So at this point, we really should be on him. If this Disc Priest were playing better, he would have healed himself fully. Instead, he life grips, which is one of the dumbest things he could have done, because now it's forcing us to follow the Warlock back to his location. Now, Disc Priest is completely depleted, and both of us are in pretty decent shape. Be careful when you spam purges on shields. Purge really eats up through your mana, and if you don't have enough mana to heal at a critical time, or to cast that important CC, or even throw down totems, that's really bad. Now, for most of this fight, this Warlock has been targeting the Warrior, and I haven't really had to use any of my defensive cooldowns. I use them once in a while, but I barely used Tremor in this fight, and I barely used Shamanistic Rage.
Shit, can I get a heal?
At this point, my warrior's almost dead. I got a couple of healing surges off of him on him real quick. But fortunately, this priest has basically been running on empty this entire time, and the more time I waste healing the warrior, the more likely the Disc Priest is going to be able to get these intermittent heals off. So we're just really keeping the pressure up, and I thought we had him there for a second, but no, unfortunately he just used his little portal thing. It's getting really down to the wire here. This fight seems to have gone on forever. I finally get my last wolves out. I've used my trinkets here. We're basically, this is all or nothing here. And we get the Warlock down. So,
damn, that was a pain.
That was as my partner says, that was a pain in the ass. After this, it's just cleaning up the Disc Priest. Pretty simple stuff. Didn't really bother healing my warrior, although I could have. And there you go. This next fight is a little bit different. It's the same basic style. This time it's a mage and a Disc Priest. And we have a better map for this. When you're facing caster comps, caster healer comps, having a map where there's a lot of good LOS opportunities is really important for a melee team like ours. So getting the bridge arena, the grand arena, is really, really useful. This fight, this arena match I chose to show you because it's going to illustrate a lot of important arena concepts. First off, this comp, Disc Frost, is brutal on Enhancement because there are so many shields. Your job is to purge them, but just keep an eye on my mana throughout this fight. You'll be watching it go down tremendously. Notice how many bubbles are on that mage, and I am really purging the shit out of him, and he still has all these bubbles up. Disc can refresh their bubble frequently. Mages are on a cooldown, but nevertheless, that was basically a junk hex right there. This priest isn't biting and he's not wasting his trinket, which is unfortunate. It's still early in the match, but
come on, really?
Now the approach that they're using, this team, they are basically trying to CC my warrior and they're trying to kill me. We aren't really focusing either target because when you're doing a healer DPS comp, if the DPS is out of range of hitting you and you're within range of their healer, it doesn't really matter where you throw the damage around. The whole point is to just burn through the healer's mana. So whether the healer is healing himself or his target, it doesn't matter. Now at this point, notice this Frost Nova. I trinketed out of that because he popped mirror images on the bridge and I needed to get away from those mirror images or I was going to die. So I'm very low on mana here, and basically what we're trying to do is just eat through the mirror image timer. I'm not going back up there till I am sure that the mirror images, and more importantly the mage himself, are not up on the bridge. They're busy CCing my warrior and just basically ignoring him. Now I'm low on mana. Now here's what I'm doing. I'm using the pet as a mana battery. This is a really effective strategy for Enhancement if they let you get away with it. I'm just restoring basically all of my mana on this pet while they do almost no damage to my warrior. They also are only attacking him because I'm so far away, which is the same tactic I was using a minute ago. I'm attacking the disc just for shits and gigs, really, mostly because when I first started attacking him, he wasn't bubbled. I always prefer the target that isn't bubbled because it keeps my mana high, which is important. Now notice, as soon as I popped wolves on this Disc Priest, he feared him. I popped Tremor for that. It's really important to make sure you have Tremor Totem on cooldown before you use wolves if you've got someone like a priest, because they will AE fear. Now what I should be doing, I should have popped my wolf sprint there to get out of that Nova, but I didn't. Mage is Frost Noving in a really dumb spot, and this is a precarious situation for me. I'm getting focused by the Mage. He's doing a lot of damage. Now my warrior just feared those two guys, which I broke on the Mage instantly. The priest is feared. Now I'm going for the priest because the Mage is being attacked by my warrior. I think I missed that interrupt on the flash heal, which is unfortunate.
Feared and sheeped.
The fact that the warrior is sheeped means that he's being healed, which is convenient. My health is still high enough for me to stay aggressive. A mage can't really burn me enough. kill me instantly there. And
Oh my god.
our warrior's complaining about the Ring of Frost, which we both avoided very easily because he's bad at Ring of Frost. Now notice the mage himself is also pretty low on MP, which is good. He's going to be thinking about evocating pretty soon. I don't really care if he does, honestly, because it's the priest's mana I'm worried about. Yeah, that was a very weird life grip that priest used. It wasn't very smart. I'm in a weird position right now because I have almost no mana. My warrior is full health. They're CCing him according. They're just polymorphing him and stuff. But because I have no mana, it's really dangerous for me to go out in the open and play aggressively. If they burst me now, I'm really screwed. So I'm going to mana battery up on the pet again, which he's done me the favor of resummoning. Now I'm using wolves defensively here because my health is so low. I really need my wolves to try to heal me up a little bit. But as with mana returns on auto attacks, it doesn't work on absorb. So trying to keep the wolves on a target that isn't shielded is kind of important. It's really tough to do. They feared my wolves again, and I didn't pop Tremor because my wolf's duration is almost up. They also were both shielded at the time, so... I'm in a really precarious situation again here. I have no mana at all, and if they were to burst me right now, I would totally die, and that's exactly what they're about to try. I'm getting a little bit back on this Disc Priest here. Pop my Stoneclaw Totem there.
Just LOS that shit.
I also would love to have used Shamanistic Rage, but it's on cooldown. He popped Mirror back there behind on the other side of the bridge. And I'm just playing LOS games with the mage here. I'm trying to keep him from killing me right now. I'm avoiding his mirrors as best I can, and now I'm going to mana battery on his shield again, on his pet again. I've done this 3 times in this fight, and you'd think the mage would have wised up to this, but has not.
Fucking Ring of Frost and Sheep.
I jumped back down because the mirror images were done on their CD. I didn't know that definitively, but I just guessed. I'm still mana battering on the pet. Now you look at the Disc Priest, he's got almost 0 mana, he's completely empty. So this is where we're going to pretty much win the game. And we're going to pressure the Disc Priest, hopefully kill him. Instead of controlling us, the mage is off, probably evocating. Or eating, it looks like. Might have even been out of combat. We don't care because his mana doesn't matter. Disc Priest is down. It looks like the mage didn't eat because he's still completely out of mana. He basically gave up, it looks like. So there you have it. Now this team, this is an interesting comp. It's Rogue Hunter. They're going to try to double stealth us and DPS burn us.
Stop. Every time.
And as you're going to see, it's not going to work too well for them.
I was fancy.
Against this kind of comp, the biggest thing you got to be careful of is getting sapped up or rogue raped right up front. Sap is not a big deal, but if you let a rogue open on you while his hunter starts shooting you, you won't be able to survive through it. It's the reason that melee cleave teams are really dangerous for enhanced, because it's hard to survive their upfront onslaught. So what we're doing is we're trying to beta sap, and he saps the warrior. The rogue does. Now we know it's a rogue hunter, and I see the hunter and through his camouflage he's an idiot, and he doesn't successfully evade me, so I blow him out of camouflage. And I pop wolves preemptively there because I'm afraid of the rogue. The rogue is on me now, and I hex him. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get away from the rogue real fast so he doesn't stun the shit out of me, which I was successful in doing. That's really important against this kind of team. My warrior is busy completely dominating this hunter, and I get away from the rogue and then help him. And as soon as the hunter dies, this rogue who's running over here, realizing he's screwed, just leaves the arena. And that was an easy win. Now we're against double Caster DPS. This is like one of the best types of comps that we can go against with our comp because we're very good at locking down casters. So what we're going to do here, we're going to play very aggressively. We don't know that it's a mage, but we don't care. We see the Warlock, and we're just going to play real hard against him. And basically, We're going to use the same tactic melee cleave teams use and try to just blitz one of the casters. Now the Mage is dawdling here. He should have been popped a long time ago, but he's still in Viz somewhere. So basically that Warlock's Mez was almost worthless. Because the Frost Mage was also not doing anything, so he might as well have been CC'd. My arena partner's bro-storming through the Ring of Frost. They're doing everything they can to try to keep us from, well, not really. He CC'd me with a little Warlock stun, but it didn't do any good. We were able to completely dominate the Warlock. He was basically unprotected against my warrior, and this Frost Mage was playing completely ineffectively.
No pet for you, asshole.
What's interesting is this Frost Mage, you'll see how long he's able to survive solo against both of us. This is an important aspect of Frost Mages you have to be aware of. They have very good survivability. It's one of the reasons why I frequently arena with Frost Mage. Now, I'm attacking the mirrors, and people often wonder why I do that, and it's all about mana battery. You have to keep your mana up, and the only way to do that is to keep auto-attacking. So if you have a target, any target, if the other guy is, you know, the actual mage is frost blocked, just attack his mirrors and keep your mana high. The mirrors really aren't doing enough damage to me for me to care. What we're trying to avoid here is for him to get away enough to be able to drink or evocate. And watch what he does here. He, instead of standing in his Ring of Frost, he skirts it like a moron, and this allows
Blade Storm charge to fucking
this allows my arena partner to Blade Storm charge right through the Ring of Frost and basically force him to ice block a second time, and you know, he cold snapped that, and now he's basically screwed. That was another easy win. This last match I included because it's one of the more interesting comps I've fought. I haven't really seen this comp very often. It's a Warlock and a Feral Druid. And again, we don't know that right up front, although we figure it out pretty quickly. One of the easiest ways to figure out what kind of stealther you have is to look at the buffs on the non-stealther. You can see that he has Leader of the Pack on him, so we know it's a Feral Druid. But again, we're not going to give them time to formulate a plan and talk through and decide that they're going to tunnel one of us, probably me. Instead, we just rush the Warlock and we tunnel the crap out of him. Now, watch my warrior's hit points. He's getting real low up on him, which was probably a mistake. The Feral should have opened up on me, but didn't. This leaves me free to kill the Warlock, basically. Now, my warrior is still really low on hit points, and you may think that even though one of their guys is dead, we've won the game. But the problem is that if my warrior dies, this Feral might be able to solo me. Feral is really tough for us to kill, so I'm making sure that I keep my warrior alive long enough to force the Druid into defensive mode, which he's now in bear form. And he's more or less demoralized, didn't really use any of his major bear abilities that he could have. I didn't even see a Frenzied Regeneration go up, so he pretty much quit. And there you have it. I'm going to be posting more videos like this that describe my arena play in a little bit more detail, and I'll go over a little bit more of the technical side of Enhancement Arena soon, so stay tuned and subscribe.